Welcome, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 834 and Doubleshot number 720. Actually, no, this is excuse me. It is 834 and Doubleshot number 828. I think that's correct, right? Yeah, it's getting a little odd for these little double shots. Anyways, we have two Marvel trades. One I own, the other one's a library trade. First up, it is Mighty Avengers, Volume 3, Original Sin, Not Your Father's Avengers. This collects the final 4 issues of Mighty Avengers Volume 2. Basically, issues 11 and 14. Written by Al Ewing, artwork by Greg Land and Salvador Larroca. What's the original Sin tie-in for this one? Okay, Luke Cage finds out in the Thought Bomb, they have flashback in this particular book, that apparently there was another team of Mighty Avengers back in the 70s. Yep, back in 1972. Yeah, and the lineup is one of the most weirdest lineups I've ever seen. And yes, that is Blade in his original Gene Colan look. A look he maintained up until the 90s. Yeah, he maintained this look for like 20 years. Also, they have one of the covers in here done by Francisco Fracavia. Yeah, this is an awesome looking cover. I kind of wish this guy was doing the interior because I'm not a big fan of Land. Nope. Land only does the first 2 issues. The last 2 issues are by Salvador Larroca. Land just does, he basically does the cover art with Frank Darentano, who's the colorist of these issues. Those two do issues 12 to 14. Yep. Now, one thing I do appreciate, though, about this particular trade, and of course in the issues, they actually have something that Marvel should do a lot more often. You see these yellow boxes? Those are editorial notes. Yep. And this only came out just a few years ago, and I'm like, where the heck are these things nowadays? I love these things. The only series I've seen pop up in the last, I'd say couple years, I've seen pop up in Howard the Duck. Let's see, Unbeatable Squirrel very rarely. In Spectacular Spider-Man. And that's it. That's all I see is pop up in. Yep. Now, the 70s lineup consists of Blue Marvel, Cthulhu, that's really the guy's name, a woman called the Bear. Yeah, she is a character created by Greg Land from the storyline The Secret Origin of Tony Stark. Yep. And their leader was Luke Cage's father, James Lucas Sr. Yeah, and they came together in the 70s to fight these creatures known as the Death Walkers, which are kind of like vampires in a way. That's simply what these creatures are. I mean, it seems like an awesome idea for a story. I mean, Luke Cage's father, Blade, Blue Marvel, the Bear, and a reporter teaming up and calling themselves the Mighty Avengers group of vampires. Sounds awesome. Yeah, and these things reappear in modern day. Now, the whole thing with Blade, this is something a bit unusual. Let me explain this. At the start of this particular, I haven't reviewed the first trade yet, but this, yeah, originally he called himself Spider Hero. He was like this for a very brief period of time until Ox Spidey called him out. He doesn't like the fact that there was another Spider-like hero like him, so he changed his name to Ronin. And he's running pretty much most of the series. And then here's something quite unusual. I have no idea how this happened. This was about a few years ago this happened. Yeah, the identity of who Ronin is was leaked. Yes, it was leaked. As for how in the world this man just escaped from Al Ewing, no idea. This question has never been solved. If I get a chance to meet Al Ewing, I'm going to ask him, how the heck was Ronin's identity leaked? Who the heck was he? Frickin' Blade! Yep, Blade. Yeah, he was the frickin' guy all along. And they eventually had this thing where the modern day Mighty Avengers team up with the past version to take out these creatures again in modern day. And at the end, we have it where, at the end of this particular storyline, we have it where the second Power Man and White Tiger, who happens to be the younger sister, the teenage sister of the original White Tiger, though she's also the aunt of the second White Tiger, which is particularly very weird because if you have seen the previous White Tiger before her, She was a woman who was about in her 20s or 30s, and she's supposed to be the original White Tiger's niece. Yeah, and this other White Tiger is supposed to be her aunt. Teenage aunt. Sliding time scale. As for how the heck this was explained, no idea. I would not have been surprised if they retconned where the niece was actually the older sister, and this one was actually the younger, let's just say, younger sister. Now, the first issue is just a standalone. It pretty much is just set up for this particular storyline. Yeah, all because what happened in Secret Wars number 2 when this happened. The orb detonating the truth bomb with one of the eyes of the Watcher. Yeah, and here's a few secrets. It's like, Thor's like, by the spires of Asgard, I have a sister? Yeah, his sister's freaking Angela of Spawn. It's like, what the hell, this is me, why would... Yeah, of course, the 72 Avengers. And so I was like, oh no, he forgot about... And here's the thing. Thor's little truth revelation, that's explored in the miniseries Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm, done by Al Ewing and Jason Aaron. It is a fantastic comic series. My friend Edgar basically would definitely agree with me on that. It is a fantastic series. The other miniseries that was tied to this, and this did kind of lose time to Original Sin, and this was kind of stupid. This was done by Karen Gillian and Mark Waid, the Hulk vs. Iron Man series, which was revealed that Iron Man was responsible for the creation of the Hulk. Yeah, I agree with Edgar. That was a stupid retcon. These other ones were fine. Yep. So, pretty much this whole first issue is just basically the origin of how this group got together for like one night only. Oh yeah, and here's the wizard who actually in the Captain America Mighty Avengers series, he actually joins the group at the start of his relaunch. Yep. And of course we have the Bear. It's like he has like, who are you exactly? Me? I'm the Bear, darling. Yep, this is the Bear. Yeah, she actually is a bear. She was a bear from Russia from the early 1900s. I heard it was a group of aliens that transformed into a woman. Yeah. And of course, when James Lucas Sr. finds out about the whole talisman thing, which they mention here in the flashback, and of course then Cthulhu contacts the Mighty Avengers, it's like... they contact Mighty Avengers because, well, Mighty Avengers operated Gem Theater, which was actually the base operations for Luke Cage in his original solo comic from the 70s. Yeah, and he has a receptionist says, "You have reached the Mighty Avengers. My name is Ruby. How can I help you? I'd like to arrange a conversation with the field team." "Well, they're pretty busy. What can I do to you?" "Tell them it's the end of the world and I expect results." Sorry, sir, but who is this? Who are we?" "Tell them, old man. We're the Mighty Avengers, Ruby. The originals. Back to show you how it's done." Yeah, it's actually quite interesting, the fact they do this. And of course, they meet up with the Mighty Avengers, and it's by far one of the most interesting meetings of past and present day versions of teams. Yep. And they team up, and they take on the Deathwalkers. Of course, they reunite with Blue Marvel, which they knew him. And of course, James Lucas Sr. gets a chance to reunite him too. And of course, you have Luke Cage in the background trying to show off his beautiful baby girl to her grandfather. But yeah, he's like kind of ignoring him. And of course, we have a flashback of, believe it or not, Blade and his girlfriend Spitfire. Yes, this lovely lady. Those of you who don't know who the heck Spitfire is, she's a hero from World War II. And she's a grandmother. Now, some of you might be asking, how the heck is she still... How in the world is she smoking hot? Well, there is an explanation for that. She got a blood transfusion from James... From... what was his name? It was Jim Morrison. Not Jim Morrison. It was Jim Hammond. That's his name. Jim Hammond. The original Human Torch. She got a blood transfusion from him, and that's what turned her young. And she's also part vampire. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. She's part vampire, because here's the thing. Her son is one of the people who held the title of Baron Blood. Yep. Oh yeah, she's referred to as Luke Blade's better half. As far as I know, these two are still dating, but this is one of her rare appearances she's made since the end of the Captain Britain MI13 series. And I've had this theory for years, for the past several years of reading comic books, that whenever Blade shows up in the comic book, the comic is doomed to be canceled not long after that, because if you look at it, when he showed up in this comic, the book got canceled over a year later and was relaunched because it still had Blade. Yeah, because apparently some people were not interested in Blade, but yeah. So yeah, we have these characters team up with we have the present day Mighty Avengers team with the past one, take on the Deathwalkers, win. Of course, they have this thing where they have this giant creature known as the Avenger. Yeah. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, it's called Avenger Prime. It's this cosmic being. He only appears in this one issue. As far as I know, this creature never appeared again, but it's a really awesome idea. And it's for the powers of all the present Mighty Avengers, which is really cool. And defeat Deathwalkers, and they're like, okay, we're the Mighty Avengers. Let's get back to work. People need us. We'll do it again all over again, only bigger. And it says, they do in Captain America and the Mighty Avengers. Too bad the comic got canceled after only 9 issues. Not kidding about that. The book got canceled after 9 issues. But this is really good. I kind of wish this series wasn't canceled because it was really, really good. I'm one of the very people who actually enjoy this series. Because apparently no one bothered to buy this damn comic book when it was coming out because either they didn't care or Marvel just didn't bother to promote it. That was the thing. That's been a big problem with Marvel the past, 7 years. Marvel is terrible at marketing the comic books. They'll acknowledge that the book is coming out, like when the series starts, and then they forget to promote it right after that. The only comics they promotion nowadays is the X-Men comics. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. Really enjoyable story, that is. Next up is something for Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man Volume... Let's see, what volume is this one? This is Volume 5, Unintended Consequences. This collects issues 51-56 of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2. There's actually a couple different stories in here. The first 4 issues is a 4-parter, Spider-Man investigating a creature known as Digger. Oh, I should also point out, the story is written by JMS, and artwork is done by John Romita Jr. Yeah, investigating this creature called Digger. They eventually, and here's the kind of the weird thing about exactly how this creature was made. It was made from 13 dead gangsters. Apparently, back in the late 50s, one gangster apparently didn't like the 13 people, so he ordered them all to be massacred, dumped in a mass grave in the middle desert. And then here's something quite unique about this particular area. This area was also responsible for the creation of the Hulk. Yeah, this is where the Hulk was born. I don't know if it's just by sheer coincidence that the Hulk is actually responsible for creating the thing. If that, or the fact that, here's the thing. This thing was put in there back in 1957. And this basically came out in 2003. Yeah. And apparently it's been like 46 years. And in the comic-wise, publication-wise, about 5 years after that happened, that's when the Hulk showed up. So it took this thing this long to come out. Yeah, and it turns out the guy who, and it goes after a gangster who actually was responsible for the thing. He goes after his properties and mentions something about the Starlight Lounge, mentions like Frank Sinatra, a lot of basically popular singers from the 50s and 60s. And he finds out about Lewis and Martin breaking up and Acme being president. Yeah, basically, he was slowly finding out exactly what's been going on for the past 46 years. Yeah, and Acme president, that's a reference to Ronald Reagan. Yeah, and I don't mind occasionally if JMS uses the word ass in here. Yeah, he only uses like once or twice, which is kind of good. At least JMS is not like Brian Michael Bendis, where he has the character swear. Yeah, I'm kind of glad the fact he doesn't have the character swear, which is a good thing. Though apparently Superman is doing that now under Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah, but that is actually a really damn good story. And Spider-Man's able to take down the gangster. How? A wiretap. Now, this is not exactly like having wire taped to somebody like under their shirt. This is basically a collar he wore. He wore like this collar thing. I don't know what this thing is. I think this is real life. Yeah, where you're upset and it recorded an entire conversation of him confessing to actually arranging for the murder of these guys. Yep. The last two issues is, well, the title of the thing, Unintended Consequences. Yeah, Peter Parker is kind of late for class, late teaching class, and he runs to a student who actually also was an honors major. So because she's got crutches, she was getting late for school, but she was able to work around it. Like, her teacher excused the fact that her home teacher, his name is Myers. No, it's not related to Michael Myers, just a guy named Mr. Myers. He was able to excuse the tardiness because, well, Peter Parker was also late, and because the fact she has crutches. So, and of course, because apparently she fell out of this particular class, so she had to take PE, but she can't exactly take PE because of the fact she's got a broken leg. Excuse me. So Peter talks to her gym coach and arranges to be, because he's in charge of it this particular semester, that she's able to take the class. Yep. And of course, they mentioned her brother, which apparently her brother was actually taken up by Spider-Man for carjacking. Yep. And Ezekiel pops up in this two-part. Yes, Ezekiel. Those of you who don't know who the heck Ezekiel is, he's this mysterious old man who's got the powers of Spider-Man. Of course, the guy gets killed off in the book Ezekiel storyline, though he does come back a couple times since then. Yeah, he came back once during Grim Hunt when someone was posing as him. The other time was actually just about a few years ago. It was actually part of a tie to the original Sin as a flashback where he actually puts Cindy Moon in her bunker. Yeah, I don't know if she's as far as I know, she's not living there anymore. As a matter of fact, no one knows what she's up to anymore because Marvel canceled her comic book last year. But yeah, these issues are actually really good. I really recommend them. And of course, this is basically coming right after Spider reunites with his wife. Well, he reconciled with his wife. Everything is like very nice. I gotta admit, unlike some other, I kind of forgot. Now I kind of knew about John Romita Jr.'s artwork, but yeah, if you want to know what Digger looks like, okay. Let's see, what's a good picture of him? There is a good thing of here he is. I gotta say, on John Romita Jr.'s artwork, which by the way, he's the only artist to draw this guy. He doesn't look that bad, and his artwork doesn't look terrible, because I knew that John Romita Jr. for some comics I've read by him, he has a reputation for unnecessarily put line into people's faces for shading. But I thought he did it here, but he didn't do it here at all, which is kind of weird. But yeah, this is actually really good. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. And of course, people who love the marriage of Spider-Man and Mary Jane, this basically proves, JMS proves basically he makes it interesting. Despite the fact about 4 years after the storyline happened, he did one more day. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I don't know when I'm able to do the next episode. Depends on when I get another trade, because I finished up a trade, but I got another one. Yep. So I still have several other videos coming out today. I got reviews coming for the new episode release with Dragon Ball Super, One Piece, Boruto, and I'm gonna start a new anime called Rosemouth plus Vampire. Yep, I'm actually going to start that thing. Yeah, expect the first part of that possibly later on today. Okay? But until you see you next review, bye.